My name is Cathi Nelson. I'm the founder and CEO of the Photo Managers. I'm also the author of two books, Photo Organizing Made Easy, going from overwhelmed to overjoyed, and a business roadmap for professional photo managers. And today I am going to share with you a few things. Why there is a surging demand for the work that professional photo managers do. Who actually hires a professional photo manager? If you're thinking about this as a business, you might be thinking, well, how do I get my clients? Success stories from a few photo professionals who have made transitions from into their careers and how they've done, how we are the industry leader and what we will do to support you every step of the way, and the difference between a new level of membership that we introduced in January, much to our surprise, has been quite popular, called Photo Manager in Training. And so we'll walk you through the difference between those. And then we'll leave you lots of time to ask questions. So go ahead, as you already have questions, start putting them in the chat. We answer all questions. And if you're like most people, we'll have a little nudge and a deadline to help you get started at the end with an offer that's good until I think it did till the end of the month, for the end of February. So a week and a day or so away from now. So just because as humans, we tend to need a little nudge. Okay, so why is there a surging demand for the work of professional photo managers? We live in an increasingly complex technical world, right? Yet as human beings, we have not changed in our need to tell a story. It's through stories that we connect. And one of the ways that we tell our stories today, and have been since the camera was invented, is through photos, increasingly through videos. And also we add this now because it's so important. It's really not just photos. It's also keepsake items or memorabilia, the things that we care about, that we hold on to, that we can't bring ourselves to let go of. Yet most people admit to being completely overwhelmed with their growing photo collections. They just don't have the time to sort through and organize the thousands upon thousands of photos they've accumulated, let alone print them. That's how the digital photos, right? And the result is the consumer is completely overwhelmed and mostly paralyzed. In addition to digital photos, hundreds of thousands of printed photos still languish in shoeboxes and bins. Then we have all those videos, right, on VCR tapes and little camcorders of Baz's birthday parties, baby's first steps, weddings. They're on outdated media formats. Like, who has a VCR camera anymore? So another thing that really ties in beautifully to what we do is this concept of sharing our legacies. And we're starting to use that word more and more. It's kind of becoming a buzzword in the world. It's funny how words can start to really take on a life of their own. A few weeks ago, the Washington Post had a great article entitled, "How Will You Be Remembered?" And it talked all about how to adopt a legacy mindset. And a quote from the article sums up a lot of what it is that we do. "We must remember that our existence is really pretty much a small blip that's going to occur between our ancestors and those who come after us." The writer said, "A legacy inspires a broader view that is humbling, but opens us up to a much larger way of looking at the world and ourselves." So one of the ways, of course, is that people create and share their legacy is through their use of photos, videos, and keepsakes items to tell their stories, right? That I always say we all have a story to tell. And so that is a significant reason why I think people care so deeply about this topic. Unfortunately, also, as we can imagine, every day I've stopped listing the weather events that are happening because this presentation, I repeat this, I update it quite a bit, but I'll repeat it every month or so. And it's just, I could put a new list of places that are experiencing horrific weather extremes every week now. And so what happens though in those, whether it's fires or floods or dropping your iPhone or, technical obsolescence where your computer crashes or your hard, you drop the hard drive that you carefully carried everything on there. People are realizing that we're losing access to our keepsake items and the things we care a lot about through these increasing situations. There were the fires in Maui, there were fires in Washington State and British Columbia last year. There's been hurricanes and now in California, and now floods in the Midwest and tornadoes on the East Coast. So it's not meant to create fear, but people realize that they need to act now before it's too late. So that brings us to this amazing global community of professional photo managers that have stepped in to fill their need. And we now have hundreds, we're closing in on almost over 800 professional photo organizers all around the world offering a variety of solutions. We are a worldwide organization. We do have the majority of our members are currently in quite a few in the US and Canada, but also growing significant group in Europe, and then in Australia, a few handful here and there in South America and things. But again, this problem is international, and it's just a wonderful, amazing organization. So if you're wondering, who hires a photo manager? Here are 3 of the most common reasons in the client demographics. So as you're thinking about this, I want you to think about who in your circle do you touch that would be a potential client for you. The first group we're talking about is what we call people who have the digital photo overload. With the advent of our smartphones and digital cameras, people take more photos than ever before. I could show you crazy statistics that just don't even mean anything anymore, like 1 trillion something photos are taken every year. Who can even grasp the concept of 1 trillion, right? Managing and organizing those digital images quickly has become overwhelming for people. The client that's usually looking to hire somebody for help is usually a working professional mom or dad who's busy. They care deeply about their photos and they don't have any time. A photo manager will come in and create a plan, usually including gathering all the photos into what we call a digital photo hub, removing duplicates, and creating an easy to locate shareable collection using different software based on the client's skill level. We train a lot and teach a lot about the different software, and we have access and knowledge of lots of great software that the consumer is completely unaware of because they just don't have time. So another thing we're seeing with this younger generation of families is they're realizing more and more they do not want to be putting a screen into their children's hands at all times, right? There's a really growing recognition that screen time is not good for anybody's brains, too much screen time, but certainly children. And most kids, the only way they can see their photos is on a screen, right? That's on their parents' phones or their iPads and things like that. And so there's also a growing realization of printing photos again, and actually making photo books for children to look at to learn their family stories. And so that's a really fun way that you can help these families by helping create these storybooks for their children. So that's one group. By far the largest group, though, is what we call downsizing baby boomers. This is true throughout the world, but 10,000 in the US, this number is 10,000 people will be retiring every day for the next 6 years. So if you think about a bell curve, it's been increasing, we've been growing towards this number. Then for the next 6 years, that'll be what's happening, and then it'll slowly start to wane off. These are key customers for Photo Manager. They are the families that have boxes and boxes and lots of old analog photos. They'll have slides, they'll have negatives, and they'll have the photos that they inherited from their parents. They'll have old home movies on VCR tapes, all of that kind of deteriorating. And they're asking themselves this question: does anybody care about my family photos? Does the next generation want these access to the photos? And the answer is absolutely they do. They just don't want access to all of them. And these are the clients that really are invested in getting help and getting their photo collection curated in a way that they can pass it down to the next generation and also share their own legacy stories. These clients can age and range from 55 to 90. And so you'll meet with the client, you create a plan, which oftentimes includes scanning those photos and converting those home movies, and then putting that together in a way that they can then enjoy those family photos again into the future. And the third really significant reason that happens that we call what trigger events. These are special occasions. There are events like weddings, reunions, milestone birthdays. People often take a large number of photos at those, right? Professional photo organizers can help create and organize and curate those collections. Another key life event that we're seeing a lot of demand for is memorial services after somebody passes away. And also this kind of movement towards living memorials. Again, I think the baby boomers are creating this experience where they realize that why should we wait to celebrate somebody's life after they're gone? What can we do to help celebrate their life while they're still alive? Another growing need too is for in the Alzheimer's market, people with dementia. For instance, my mom is 93 or 92, soon to be 93, and her memory is starting to really fail. She's in great shape. And we just put together a photo book for the help that we're now having come in so they can see that, oh my gosh, she was once worked for the American Cancer Society, and that she had 3 children, and that she played tennis, and she had this really engaging life, instead of what they see when they walk in as kind of a confused elderly person. So there's so many ways that photo managers are working with clients around those kind of key topics. And we'll be doing a lot more work on this actually into the future. I'll be leaving next week to go to Roots Tech, which is the largest genealogy conference in the world, where thousands of people will be gathering. And again, it's all about people wanting to know their past, their roots, and things like that. And photos, letters, all of that is a big part about that. So now, if you're kind of getting a little overwhelmed, thinking that, wow, that's a lot of things that I just that I just said to you, and I can't, do all of those things. I want to stress that you do not have to offer all the services that I've talked about. Many professionals start out offering like, a banquet of services, but as their business grow, they start to focus on what they really enjoy. And then we really recommend that you outsource the rest. You're not going to probably know how to do home movie conversion. I'm amazed at how many of our members actually buy the equipment and learn how to do that, but you can outsource that. Maybe you don't really want to get into scanning. I just talked to a woman today from London who's probably going to be joining. She really is focused on creating beautiful keepsake albums for key milestone birthdays. And so, she probably will outsource the scanning because that's just not the area of her interest. So that's fine. There's plenty of opportunities for you to work with whatever area that's of interest to you. But there are 4 characteristics that are really important. And I want you to ask yourself this question: is this you? It's okay to, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you are, that you're curious. Are you a curious person about people, history, and ideas? Are you passionate about photos and stories? Are you a lifelong learner? This is really important. Are you open to researching, learning, taking a deep breath when the technology doesn't work or the technology changed, and asking for help, because we have an amazing supportive community who will help you, but also finding the answers yourself. And if you're open to, you don't have to be tech savvy, but you have to have a willingness to learn technology. And there's often a learning curve. So if these 4 characteristics are something that you feel confident in yourself in that, then you are in the right place in terms of saying yes to becoming a professional photo manager. So let me introduce you to 3 members, just to give you an idea of the backgrounds that people come from. There's so many members I could feature in this kind of a presentation, but first meet Kimberly Melton. She is the owner of Visual Story Media. She lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. She discovered the photo managers about 3 years ago and started her business right off the bat. She had recently retired from her job in operations and was looking for a job that she could do that would help people. She offers digital organizing and scanning, and of all photographs, negative slides, and media transfer. She works anywhere, she says, from 40 to 50 hours a week because she loves it, and she loves it because she's helping people share their memories. The photos or films often live in a box in the closet for years, and then we give them a new life to be shared, enjoyed by families or friends. She says she's averaging about $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and that is what's working really well for her at this point. Now let's meet Holly Corbett of Capture Your Photos in Stillwater, Minnesota. She's grown her business since 2010, so she's been doing this for quite some time. She started out very part-time, but as her family grew and she was able to develop more time to it, she actually started going more full-time. She offers full-service digital photo organizing, printed photo organizing, scanning, album design, and slideshow services for clients who often pay thousands of dollars for a project. Plus, she added an additional income because she also offers online courses. She said to me that I started this as a part-time gig that turned into a full-time job as my business grew. I just love what I do. It's my second career. Most people aren't lucky enough to get to turn their passion into their career, and I have. Touching hearts is my why. I also love the freedom I have to run my own business. Some days that can be really challenging, but it's often I can make this business anything that I want it to be. And our second person is meet Josh and Kate of Central Connecticut Standing. He started out only offering scanning on a very part-time basis because it had a low startup cost and a good profit margin. He nets around $5,000 to $1,000 extra income a month that they do that just for scanning. And actually, since I created that slide 18 months ago, he took the jump to full-time. He now offers home movie transfer, scanning, senior tech support, and outsources album making and digital photo organizing. He's just added a staff person, and he's looking to grow this into a lifetime career. I also know that he just got a major client where he's under NDA with a client that has a family archivist on staff. So that's going to be quite a project. So that's not unusual. We'll see clients' businesses grow as you grow, and there are people out there looking for somebody to, kind of manage the entire project from start to finish. So if you'd like to hear more stories from members, check out our YouTube channel, and it's a series called Advice from a Pro. Every month for the past few years, I interview members and I ask the same 5 questions. What do you love about your business? What don't you love? How do you find your clients? What did you do prior? And any advice for how to start a business. Isabel will drop links in the chat. I just did one yesterday with a woman. She has been doing it. Susan Wallach started, I think, 3 years ago as a second act career. She has a great tech background, so she's a real tech savvy person, and talked a lot in that little video about how she's found her clients. She's done it all through SEO, search engine optimization, through her website. And you can listen to a different one from a client who finds all of her clients from the dog park where she takes her dog. So, I mean, there's quite a variety of people and how they find their clients and what they do. So let's talk about the photo managers. We are the industry leader who supports you every step of the way. We are a global organization that serves professional photo organizers through our training, professional certification, partnerships with amazing companies, and our educational conference. So what's included in our professional membership? To become a photo manager, you pay an annual membership fee, which can be paid quarterly at $175, or you can save $100 and pay upfront the $599. But this gives you access to all the support, training, and more resources we provide. So you must be asking yourself, because I would, why would you pay the photo managers, and what's the return on investment to you? So here's just a few of the benefits of membership. I always joke this is what keeps me up at night, because we're not interested in having members join and quit, or if you're not finding the value here. We want you to, and we have many members now who have been members for decades. And so we work really hard to make sure that we continue to provide you with the best value for your membership. So essentially, we provide you to start with a business in a box. We have all walked the walk, so we come alongside you to ensure a quicker route to success. Now, we really don't send you a box, but what we put in there is, first, I'd say the number one value of our membership is our community. Our overall philosophy is a rising tide lifts all boats, and that we're collaborative, not competitive. We build community through regional meetings. So as soon as you join, you'll be entered into a regional meeting. Like our person here from Greece, we have a great group that meets from Europe that meets together. We have, and then different parts, we have a Canadian group. We have the East Coast, West Coast. They meet once a month. It's a great way to get to know other professional photo managers kind of within your geographic area. We have an incredible private Facebook group, which is like a 24-hour support hotline where members ask questions all the time. So you'll never get stumped, no matter what you come across, some old media format or something you wonder, you had a bad day, or a client, didn't accept your proposal. It's a place where you can talk to one another, and people really engage quite a bit on that. We also have monthly networking meetings and a mentorship program. And our monthly networking meetings are table conversations themed around different themes. This past month, we did all about invoicing, what kind of software you're using for invoicing, how you collect your payments, different topics like that. So we do that every month. It's a great way to learn from other members. Education, we would say, is our number one core value. We include monthly training webinars with subject matter experts on every topic that you can imagine. They are all recorded and added to your training vault. So you can go back and watch, what kind of business insurance do I need? Or how do I use Canva more effectively in social media marketing? Or this month we had a PR specialist. So we bring in guest experts. And so how do you get local PR in your local community, not PR on a national level, but who do you talk to in your community to get the PR? And so again, those are all recorded. And then we offer what we call our 4 core courses, which are included in your membership: printed photo organizing, digital photo organizing, scanning, and business basics. Because when you start a business, you have to be in business. And we talk about invoicing and how to set up, what kind of business entity you want to set up, and all those different topics. And we will be soon adding home movie conversion. So those are what we call our foundational courses to ensure that you can get up and running right away. Now, you can purchase those classes separately on our website, but they're for significantly more than what you get if you just go ahead and join membership. I also want to mention certification. We established professional certification early on. It was when we started the Photo Managers. This course will increase your knowledge and understanding of best practices. Once certified, you get listed in our directory, and people always ask, how long does it take? It can be done, the course can be done in a weekend, but takes time, is completing a paid client project and documenting your process. And then we check your references. We do that because we're vetting. I mean, when we're putting you on our website for people to hire you, we have to, we have to know that you've said yes to our code of ethics, privacy issues, all sorts of things like that. So it's really important. You can take your time, and, you don't have to get certified right away, but we highly recommend it as a way to build your credibility. And then we also have significant discounts from our partners, such as Archival Methods, Nix Play, photo book companies. It's kind of like the significant discount, like 40% off Archival Methods products that you get to, it's more money in your pocket, basically, is what that is all about. Okay, so there we go. So before I go to the questions, I want to introduce that new level of membership I mentioned that we lost on January 1st. That grew out of these questions. How could I start a business organizing someone else's photos when my own photos aren't organized? Or I joined the photo manager to get my own photos organized, and I got overwhelmed by all the training and conversations that were happening with experienced members. Or I don't really understand what a photo manager does. Can I learn more about it and whether it's for me? And so from that, we decided to create the Photo Managers in Training, which is really set up if you're interested in getting your own photos organized first. Deciding if you want to do this in business, then this would be the right level for you. So if you answer these questions, true or false, my photos aren't organized, but I know I want to start a business helping families and businesses tell their stories with their photos, videos, and keepsake items. Is that true or false? I'm unsure if I want to start a business, but I do want to get my own photos organized. True or false? I already have a business. I want to add photo organizing as a service, but I need training in pricing, workflows, operations. I'm looking to earn additional income part-time or full-time doing work that is meaningful and creative. I feel better knowing everything first before I'm comfortable telling people what to do. So based on your answers to those questions, we'll tell you that if you answered mostly true, then you should be joining at our professional level. If your answers were mostly false, then you probably should look at our photo manager in training. And if your answers were maybe, the year-long photo manager in training program can help you discover whether you are more true or false. So in photo manager in training, it's $299. It's a one-year program. We have a 1 year, every month you get a kind of we walk you through the process of getting your own photos organized. You have access to some of our training. You have access to some interactive events, some discounts, and just 2 of those courses, the printed, something called Printed Photo Organizing Made Easy and How to Scan Slides and Negatives. It doesn't include access to our certification, to our members' private Facebook group. This group has its own private Facebook group. So it's really more because it's the expectation is you're just working on your own projects and you're not really thinking about being a business just yet. And so that would be that's what's included there. So we did go in much more depth in this webinar. If you want to go ahead and scan that QR code, then you're welcome to do that and watch a little bit more to get a better understanding of what's the difference between the two. But we've had over, I think, 65 people join the photo manager in training in the past month and a half. And we've also had probably 25 or 30 new members join professionally, which would make sense in terms of numbers. So I mentioned that we'd have a special offer. To kind of move you along a little bit, if you join by the end of February, first of all new members, when you join, will get $200 off our conference registration, including our virtual conference. So Isabel will drop in the chat a link to our conference. We have an amazing conference. It's in person in Columbus, Ohio, in the beginning of April. We still have room. We'd love to have you join us. Or you can wait 4 weeks and the whole conference happens virtually over a few days. We have amazing breakouts, great keynote speakers. It's the best way to get connected to our community. So I just wanted to make sure that you'll get a coupon code when you join to take $200 off of either of those registration. And also, if you join our professional membership, we will give you free access to our Privacy Advocate course. Now, that's a significant course because it's critical to your own understanding of privacy, and it will help equip you to educate your family and friends. Here's a recent testimonial from somebody. I had set a goal to complete that course by the end of 2023. I finished last night and gained valuable insights into controlling information release. Now I plan to update my family's devices and share this knowledge with my clients. Joining was the best decision I ever made for 2023. This course has been a game changer for a lot of our members. It's taught by a privacy advocate expert. Her name is Heather Nickerson. She worked for the CIA. She actually has an amazing product called Artifact that that helps people capture their stories and things like that. But at the same time, she saw there's such a need in the marketplace to educate people about what's happening in privacy. So our members feel really empowered by going through this course and confident that they are using best practices. If you join the Photo Managers in Training, you'll receive a free copy of my book, Photo Organizing Made Easy, and we will enter you to win a Nix Play frame. We'll draw one winner. It's valued at $249, and we'll draw that one winner at the end of February and let you know on March 1st if you are the person who won that. So in a minute here, we'll take questions, but if you have more questions that we're not answering, you can always, again, watch our career advice from a pro YouTube videos. You can set up a 15-minute call with me. I'm happy to take a 15-minute call, answer more personal questions. And then again, we also have a great little video testimonial from our members talking about how much they love being a member and what the benefits of membership are. So those are 3 different ways for you to get more information. So I am going to stop sharing my screen now and come off mute or turn my video back on. And I am here to answer questions, which Isabel will start in the chat there. If people asked any questions, or if not, we'll kind of prompt you with some.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions about the case studies that you shared, specifically the one for Kimberly Melton and Josh and Kate. Were the numbers that you shared, were those revenue or profit numbers?
I guess when I asked them what their annual revenue is, then probably was their revenue. I'm not sure what their profit margins are. It's a good question. I mean, we do have, people talk about that all the time. This is a sustainable business and you can make a living. If that's really the question that somebody's asking, we have enough proof of concept at this point for this many years that we have many members who are, and we teach profitability all the time. We talk a lot about profitability.
And then we did that survey last year as well on we surveyed our members to better understand what their revenue was so that we could understand where people are throughout their membership. And in general, it was, in the first year and a half, people were making anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 on average. And then we have members sort of in the 5-year range who are making between 50 and 75,000. And then we have a lot of experienced members who are making over 100,000, 200,000 as well. How much time would you say the average how much time would you say it takes to complete the training per month or to complete in general?
Certification doesn't take long. That's because we're teaching you best practices, and then it's actually putting those practices into use. We recommend we do a new member orientation the last Friday of every month. I'll be doing it this Friday. And we really recommend that you only watch the training that you need when you need it. So if you're not going to be doing like printed photo organizing, you may not want to dive into the whole course on printed photo organizing just yet. You probably should do the business. If you have never had a business, you definitely want to do the business basics course first. They're all self-paced, so it's hard to say, depending on your time, what kind of learner you are, your time. But we do encourage people to not wait to think you're ready. Like to get you'll learn more from your first client than you will through watching. Some people will take a year and watch nothing but training, and then they've never had their first client. And we really don't recommend that. There's support. And so you're not going to get stuck with a client. You're not going to not know what to do because there's people that will help you through the process, but you'll learn more by actually doing the work itself. That's just kind of my advice.
And there's a question about how many people in our organization are certified. You mentioned that there are about 800 organizers across the world. Are they all certified?
No, they're not, but that's a good question. We should run this. We should know the answer to that.
Once I get the other question out of my mouth, I can go look and see how many we have certified.
Look through that. Nobody asked us that before.
So the next question while I look that up is, you said you have courses about transferring VHS to digital.
Oh, not yet. We are working on that because there's no standard in the industry, we realized, in terms of there's no standard information. So that's in process. We have, so that we probably won't have that ready until probably like October. We won't be doing like, how do you transfer, but it'll be best practices of what different kind of media formats and things like that, because so many of our members are now doing that as well. And, we just realized there was a lack of that training in the marketplace.
Let's see. Someone's saying that they've attended this webinar before and they're still confused. It seems like we don't teach photo organizing skills and that it's more business related learning. And on YouTube, that we teach, and on our YouTube channel, we teach best practices, but not how to do photo organizing.
Well, so our printed photo organizing course is how do you work with printed photos with a client? So that course is a full course that's taught by Sandra Williams because it's different if you're organizing a client's photo. So that is specifically how you do printed photo organizing. Our digital photo organizing course that's part of membership is all about digital file formats and things. The issue that you're like in terms of the how-to is what software program that you're going to choose to use I'm just saying for digital photo organizing, because really printed photo organizing is that the course is there and the training is all available. The digital gets a little trickier if are you on a Mac or a PC? Are you interested in there's Mylio, we have a lot of training. We have a webinar tomorrow on Mylio. We do a tremendous amount of training with Mylio. We have training on Adobe Lightroom or Adobe Bridge. So we can't put those up on YouTube because they're pretty involved courses, and you can get some of that training for free from but you have to decide what software program that you want to use to manage if you're all going to stay in the Apple ecosystem, that's a whole nother learning experience that you want to decide. So I hope that answers your question we do have a lot of specific training on those topics, but it's not,
yeah, I'll add some more details. We do have quite a few courses that are in depth, and we do our membership. What's included in membership, it is a combination of business resources as well as how do you organize photos resources. So it is a combination, and we're continuously adding to it. We also do have monthly webinars, and those are based on the need that comes up in the community. So if people are saying, "Oh, I'm looking for more training on this," we reach out to speakers that can teach on that topic specifically. So we do have a combination of both. I think one of the reasons we focus a lot on the business in these webinars is because a lot of people joining our organization are coming from either an employee background and this is their first business. And so we want to make sure that we have those business resources available to those that are starting a business for the first time. But we do also have the resources available for those that are organizing their photos. And if you want to take that, one step back even further, we do have the photo manager and training program, which is intended to teach you how to organize your own photos. And some members are using that as a step before they go to professional memberships. They'll start in the photo manager and training program, organize their own photos, learn how to do it with their own photos, and then they'll transition into professional membership. So those are sort of the two options, but they both include instruction on how to do your own photos and how to do photos in general. And I did get the number on certified members. We currently have 226 that are certified. Does the membership include what kind of equipment to purchase?
Yes. Yeah. So we talk about that too. I mean, if you're going to do analog photos and you're going to be doing scanning, then we recommend that you start with the V600, the Epson V600 flatbed scanner and the Fast Photo. The Fast Photo, I'm sometimes reluctant to always recommend because there's a little bit of a love-hate relationship with that. You have to keep it really clean. And then a lot of people will move to camera scanning, which is a much bigger investment. But over time, if you have a huge number of photos and negatives and things that need to be scanned, you're going to want to upgrade your equipment. So when we do talk about kind of go through those things. It's not a huge startup cost in equipment, honestly, to get started. So.
And we have a couple more questions about the scanning process and if we've training covering scanning kids' artwork. Sorry about that. Scanning kids' artwork or document scanning.
Does the scanning course go into document scanning?
So we have the basic scanning course, and sorry, I'm just going to turn off my notifications. Sorry about that. So the basic scanning course is for photos, slides, and negatives. So that doesn't really cover document scanning. I do know that the camera scanning course, which isn't included in membership, it's an additional purchase if you choose to do camera scanning. That does include a module on artwork and memorabilia, so sort of more of the bulky, larger items. But generally speaking, when you're working with, strange sized documents, a lot of people will scan them sort of, if they're using a flatbed, they'll scan them piece by piece and then stitch it together in an editing software. And then if you're doing camera scanning, you have a little bit more flexibility on the size, but people also do stitch them together. So that's how a lot of our professionals will work with larger media or media that doesn't fit on a traditional flatbed scanner. Someone's asking, they said that they've scanned their parents' photos and now wants to add dates and keywords. Is there a course that teaches that?
You would probably want to use, you could use Adobe Bridge, which is a free, I think Adobe Bridge is free through, is a free program. And do we have a specific course on adding metadata to, I don't know if we have a specific course on.
We have the Lightroom course, which I think
Yes.
talks about that a bit. It is covered briefly in the scanning course in the sense of, you're scanning the pictures and then you want to add keywords. But a lot of that will depend on the software you're using. Again, depending on the digital workflow that you decide to go with, it's going to look different if you're using Lightroom versus Milio versus Forever versus all sorts of different platforms. So generally, we would recommend picking one for, to get started with and really understanding that and how that works. And we do have some trainings about the different resources, but generally speaking, you'd probably be better off going directly to their support training for that specific software. And so we can help sort of recommend based on what you need and where you want to go. And then we have some, basic training in our membership. But then if you want specific details on, how do I add metadata to a photo in Lightroom, that would be, either Lightroom specific training that we have in our academy or going through to the, Adobe's website and getting help there. Cathi, since I shared a little bit about this earlier, maybe you can take another spin, but can you share a little bit and repeat what photo managers are making, particularly in the first year?
Yeah, we got to redo that survey, but we did that survey. We asked people, so in their first year, the reports that we got back from people that answered it, because we don't ask you to report to us your earnings and things. We found that people that were doing it part-time were reporting, $5,000 to $10,000, $12,000 maybe in revenue, and people who were doing it full-time in their first year, 15,000. This is gross. We weren't asking to talk about profitability, so gross revenue. And then from there, usually we found by the second or third year, people were reporting more 40 to 50 to 60,000. At that point, they were starting to hire a subcontractor to help, because you can't. So it's just like any business. You're looking to replace like a full-time career income. You're going to need to think about within a year or a year and a half to probably bring on a part-time subcontractor to do. So again, Joshua, who happens to be my son in the area, he's sending a person who knows at the gym. He just hired her to do. He's sending her home with a scanner, and she's doing a lot of his scanning for him at this point, because he's just got more business. He can't keep up with the number of scanning projects he has. So he's going to increase his income because he's now has somebody else who can take on some of that work for him. Then we definitely have members once they get into multiple projects where they're working on large projects, and the members we're talking about that are in the 6 to 7 figure range all have multiple 2 or 3 people probably on either subcontractors or on staff employees, and start to move outside of their home offices and into we have a growing number of members that now are renting space outside of their homes. Most people start in their homes and then grow outside of their homes if that's the direction they want. We have many members who've been doing it for 20 years or 15 years who are very content with the model of the business that they have, and that's fine as well. So hopefully that answered the question as best I can. this is not, I want to be careful about income too, because I always say this is not a get rich quick. This is a legitimate business. It's a legitimate career business. It's you're charging an hourly fee for your time. You're going to be you're marketing, you're getting clients, you're invoicing, you're all of those things. So it's not and we have, again, proof of concept for many, many years across the world of people who are very successful at doing this.
The next question is about the training included in membership, and I can touch on this. So our membership includes a lot of training webinars, sort of like the ones that we do on YouTube, but more in depth, that we keep in something we call the training vault for members only. So that's included with membership. We do a new training webinar every single month. And then in addition to those training webinars, we offer several courses that are included with membership, but we have also a lot of other courses on our academy. And I know there's sometimes confusion there about which courses in the academy is included in membership and if they're all included in membership. And the short answer is they're not all included in membership, and but a select few are included. And the reason they're not included is because they're more of we recommend taking them as courses. They're in-depth courses, and we recommend taking them when you're ready to learn something new. So you may not be, we have a Lightroom or a camera scanning course, for example. You may not be ready to learn that right away, but when you are, the courses are available for you to purchase. And we do also compensate the instructors that teach them. And so there's an expense on our part in that sense. So there are several courses and resources. Everything that you need to get started is included with membership. And then as you want to specialize and learn additional tools or additional skills, we have the additional courses for that. But one thing that we also say on our new member orientation that's happening Friday is don't get overwhelmed by all the options, and don't just, invest in courses and buy courses and, take courses, and don't and forget that you're in a business and you got to do the work and get out there and actually get the clients, and not just spend a lot of time learning, because you'll get stuck in that learning cycle and not get going. And so we recommend taking it slow and going through what's included in your membership from the get-go, and then adding as you need. Did you have any other things to add to that, Cathi?
Oh, good job.
For the professional membership, can you give an idea of the schedule for training calls? Stephanie's saying she works full-time in an unrelated field, so she'd like to know how to manage this with current work responsibilities.
Yeah, we do we've learned we do 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time when we do not the webinars. The webinars are always recorded, so they're going to be, the training webinars are going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But the group meetings we have specifically added the evening time for people that work full time. Also, we have our West Coast people, and then all our people in Australia and things like that. So we have to manage multiple time zones, and so we work really carefully to do that. So hopefully that answers your question. You can definitely engage with members in the evenings.
And there was a question about reviewing the costs associated with what courses, including the photo manager and training, and what you get. So I'm going to just quickly share my screen and walk through the difference between each. And so this is our photo manager and training page, and you can get all the information. But I'm going to scroll down to the courses that are included. With the photo manager and training program, you get the printed photo organizing made easy course and the how to scan photos, slides, and negatives. You also do get a selection of our training webinars that our professional members get. I think right now we have 13 or 14 videos in the photo manager training that we took from the professional membership. The professional members have quite a few more than that. But these are the 2 full-length courses that are included with the photo manager in training. The photo manager in training is $299. It's a one-time fee for a 1-year program. It doesn't renew like our professional membership. And our professional membership is going to include all of the same things that are in the photo manager and training membership. But as far as courses goes, it also includes organizing your client's printed photos, building blocks of digital photo organizing, the photo organizing business foundations course, and then you also get the 2 courses that are included with the photo manager and training program, plus the training vault that has a lot more resources than what's in the photo manager and training version of it. And as far as the cost, it's $599 annually or $175 a quarter. And you can cancel after the first year if you're not interested in renewing. And so that's
And then
just
also, okay, we do for your because of the dollar exchange rate too, we give a 10% discount to international members, just because we know that the dollar exchange rate is so tough. So that's a way we've been able to work with our international members.
In the training, since you don't recommend waiting till we've gone through the training to start working with a client, do you address how to set fees early on? Is it usually by the project or by the hour?
Yeah, that's a great question. People that took a while to get to that. We recommend that, so you need to think about you want to be charging, you want to set your hourly fee. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to research what is the average hourly fee for a service provider where you live. It's going to vary where you are in the say if we're talking the US. And you can learn that by, what does a bookkeeper charge, massage therapist, residential organizer, senior move manager, anybody that charges an hourly fee, and you're going to find it's pretty amazing, but it's going to be an average. You're going to see it's going to be a low. I think the lowest we see maybe would be $60 to $65 an hour, all the way up to $200 an hour, depending on, Chicago, DC area. Those areas are going to be much higher, but, but 85 to maybe 110 would be the average, and maybe like in the middle of the country or different places like that. In Connecticut alone, it's going to vary from what we call the Gold Coast to up in the Hartford area where I am. From that, you're going to that's your hourly fee. You want to set an hourly fee based on that. And then a lot of times people will do packages, like a 3-hour package, a 5-hour package. So, because sometimes people don't want to be on an hourly concept, and you'll get better at understanding how long it takes you to do something, and you'll get better at estimating with a client. A lot of our members will say they really stress to the client, it's hard to give an estimate completely for a project until they understand everything that's in the project. Clients grossly underestimate the number of photos that they have. And also scanning, most members, you should research what the average cost per scanning is in your area, anywhere from a low of like 35 cents a scan up to maybe 75, 80 cents a scan for just a 4x6 print. And it's going to go up based on from there if it's slides or negatives. And so that's another way. We help you understand there's like an inch of photos. An inch of photos is 100 photos. So I did a presentation on Monday, and a woman came with a huge box of photos of all her family photos. She was all excited that she had organized. And then she said, how much is it going to cost to have that scanned? And we said, well, let's take a look. We can kind of estimate how many photos. And I could tell just by looking at it that there had to be 3,000 photos in there. And her estimate was maybe there were like 300 or 400. I mean, people just have no idea what's in there. And then her mouth dropped when she realized like how many actual photos that she had in there. And then we had the conversation with her. It's up to you. You can go back now and sort through those photos, deciding if it's worth your while to have all those photos scanned, or do you want to do the work, or we could do that work for you and sort through the photos by going through, getting rid of the blurries, the negative stuff. All that's included in the training, but hopefully that gives you some idea about the pricing process.
And since digital organizing options depend on software, do we have or talk about the pros and cons of digital software? How does a person know what to choose?
Yes, we talk about that a lot. Yeah. So, and we have different companies that are really investing. There's a company called Milio that is a really great digital software that's really investing in the photo managers. They have a certification program where they're training you on their software, and now they're offering a concierge service where when clients purchase Milio, they also can get 3 hours of professional photo manager training, like onboarding, and they're collecting the money and actually paying you and getting you the leads. We have a couple companies using that model. So, I mean, there's just there's a lot happening in this industry. It's a fast moving space. We are in a very unique position as the photo managers, where these technology companies creating amazing technology that solves a lot of these issues, and the consumer has no idea. And then if the consumer does purchase it, they don't even know how to use it. And so we have more and more companies coming to us to look to be partners with our members to help train you on their software and things, so that you can then assist their customers. So there's just a lot happening. So these questions are great, but that's what I mentioned, the ability to, it's a constant learning curve in certain ways, and it's exciting. There's a lot happening.
And do we have any courses or resources on customer recruitment?
How to find clients. Yes, we talk about that all the time, and that's built into it's built into that business onboarding getting started course. And a career advice from a pro, Susan did a great job yesterday about how she's gotten her first clients. So the clients are out there.
Question about flatbed scanners. Your recommendation is based on what? Speed, quality, ease? I have a scanner that I've done photos at 600 DPI, and it has a multi-scan option. It is not the scanner you recommend. Would it be a mistake to continue with that for the best practices?
Yeah. No. We just, if it's a Canon, that's great. We just over the years have, the Epson V600 is $299. It's a good basic flatbed scanner that does slides and negatives, but there's no reason that I could pick a Canon. I don't have any investment with any of those companies. So.
And do you recommend starting on your own collection? The emotional connection is what can make it overwhelming.
Yeah. Again, that's where we ask those questions. It depends on what you want to accomplish. We joke the shoemaker has no shoes. I mean, I hired photo managers recently to help me with my photos because I just don't have time to do them, and I could be in business doing this. So it's really what you want. You have to ask that, answer that question yourself.
And a lot of people do like to get started. Yeah, a lot of people do like to get started with their own photos and sort of practice with their own photos, and that's what we have the photo manager and training level for. It's so that you can work on your own photos. But one of the first questions in the first couple, or not questions, but comments in the first couple of weeks in the Facebook group was, how do you guys do this? I'm getting so overwhelmed and I'm going down memory lane and all of those things. So, and then I think as professionals, it's easier because you don't have that emotional connection. So you have to decide, do you want to practice on your own photos and experience that emotional connection? Or do you want to dive right into the client work of it? Let's see.
A great group of questions. You've asked more questions this group than we've had in a long time. We usually don't get. This is awesome.
Can you share the difference between a flatbed scanner and a camera scanner?
Oh boy, a flatbed scanner. I mean, I'm not going to be technical, but it's like it's about this big. You put the photos on the scanner and you put the lid down, and it takes and it scans across the photo, and you can set the DPI at. Obviously, we recommend 600 DPI. Camera scanning is the thing is there's no good scanners in the marketplace anymore. Where there used to be something called the PS80, Kodak Alaris, PS50. They've all been discontinued. So what consumers have realized they needed to do from a speed and efficiency process is to actually use the digital SLR camera. It's set up on a I mean, you can almost show the screen of the picture of what the digital, of what it looks like, Isabel, from on the thing. But and then you're in a dark room. You have special kind of lighting, and it's tethered, and you're actually taking a photograph of the photos or the slides or negatives that you're doing, and it's a very efficient speed process in terms of scanning. But there is a learning curve. Professional photographers don't have much of a learning curve because they already understand how to set all that up for the most part. But for people that don't have that background, there is a bit of a learning curve. I think there you go. There's an example of kind of like the setup. Is that part of that in the course? Yeah, so you can get an idea there, right? So, see how if there's a camera above that, that would be that's a slide holder. They'd be putting slides in there. Cleaning the slides before you see the camera is right there. So clean the slides beforehand, and then you can use a light box if you're going to, take photos of trophies or different things like that.
Is there a Facebook group available to anyone, or is that for members only?
It's for members only. We used to have one for everybody, but we had to discontinue that. Just we couldn't control the different information, and sales people were trying to sell things a lot. And so we try to be very agnostic and not sales driven. So even with the software, that's probably why you get a little frustrated. We don't say you should use this software. We made a decision early on that we should allow people to make their own decisions about the products and services they want to use. And so we make recommendations, and we partner with a lot of good companies, but we don't, we try to say we're agnostic, right? So we're not tied to one company. Plus companies come and go, and from a credibility perspective, we really wanted to make sure that we stayed above the fray in terms of that kind of those kind of recommendations.
If someone starts at the training level and pays the $299 and then decides to move up to the professional level within the year, do they pay the difference in cost for the memberships?
Yeah, it's prorated, so it's not a double cost. It's not like you'd go from $299 to $599. We just did a chart because we just had our first person upgrade, and so we have a spreadsheet. We could tell you, you could divide the number of days.
Yeah, it's based on how many days you've been in the photo manager training program and when you decide to make that transition. Lillian is saying she enjoys doing the scanning, but would like options for customers to have editing done, which she doesn't like doing. Any suggestions?
Yeah, you can outsource that too. We have members that would be thrilled to take on the editing, that you can outsource that too. And then you could just, upload them into a Dropbox folder, or however you're doing that, they could edit it and return it back to you.
And that brings me to the next question, which is, do we have a list of people to outsource things to for scanning, editing, retouching, album design, and so on? If they don't want, can't offer them themselves.
We have a partnership guide that's included in membership where we list all the partners. Then a lot of members talk to each other back and forth and get to know one another as well. But we have, photo retouching and scanning, all of that. And that's where your regional meeting group becomes really helpful too. And you meet people like maybe in your area that we have a lot of members that maybe live near each other, and they can drop things off back and forth and stuff like that.
And do you have any information or indication from our professionals as to whether Mac or PC is more popular?
I don't think there is. I think you can, they're not that different in a lot of ways. And a lot of times you're working on an external hard drive off you're actually doing, so no, I think some people are only in the PC world. Some people are only in the Mac world. Usually you'll become proficient in both in time.
There was a question about if someone cancels during the year of membership, is the refund prorated? I can share some on that. So both of our membership options do have a 30-day money back guarantee, but other than that, we don't offer refunds for a membership. So you do have the option within the first 30 days. If you decide it's not for you and change your mind, we'll give you a refund, no questions asked. But beyond that, we don't do a refund. And then it's up, if you're in the professional membership, it would be up to you to cancel before it renews if you're not planning to renew, because it does renew automatically.
But we do send
you notifications and reminders.
We're not trying to hold anybody hostage to membership.
And regarding the software, is this software for us to use as the professional or for the client to use?
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's where you have to get to know your client. So that's why we can't recommend one software. It depends on your client's technical skill level. So Milio, Adobe Lightroom, very few members are teaching clients how to use Adobe Lightroom. They'll organize in Adobe Lightroom and kind of move it back into whatever. Again, you got to get to know the client. So it depends on their tech level and things like that. Then you'll decide, if they've no low tech skills and they're in Apple, maybe just keep them in Apple. Don't break to keep them using Apple. Show them how to use Apple, Apple Photos, or if they're in Google Photos, or if they're in Amazon Photos, just keep them in the system that they're comfortable with. If they have some tech skills and ability, you might want to move them out of those programs and show them how to use these other programs. A lot of our members do little Loom videos as a ending project. When they end a project, they'll create a series of like little training videos for their client as a handoff, which is a really nice way to stay in relationship with the client and things like that. So
Excellent. Well, that wraps up the questions, but we did have a question earlier. If you can just show the screen again with the 3 QR codes.
Oh, yeah.
For anyone who missed that earlier. And if you want the direct links for any of these links, you can email us at support@thephotomanagers.com, or any other questions that we didn't answer today. I'm happy to answer those.
Tomorrow, if you're available, we have it's Cathy's Picks Live. We're doing, it's Zoomers to Boomers. So I'm interviewing 4 professional photo managers, or 2 of them that are baby boomers, one that's a millennial, one that's a Gen Z, and one that's which one did I miss? There's Gen Z, millennials, baby boomers. Is it Gen Y? Gen Y? Gen X. So actually one person's 20. I mean, it's these, and how they approach their business, how they find their clients. So it's gonna be fun. It's at 2:00, and so it's another way to hear from professional photo managers who do this for a living, and the different ages and stages they're at, how they approach their business and things. So and then that'll be up on YouTube afterwards. So that's just something to keep in mind if you want to hear from other professionals. And also go to our website, watch some of the videos. You can certainly, a lot of our members are happy to chat with, they don't want to take up a lot of their time, but we have no understand if you want to check in with some other members about what their membership experience has been like. We have a really loyal, wonderful group of members, and we work really hard to make sure that we provide like all those great questions you asked. It's our job to make sure we provide you the resources and training. So we're constantly improving what we offer to make sure there's value to membership. And because you're our customer. So essentially, we'd love to have you join us at either the $299 or at the pro level. Thanks for your time. And we'll look forward to hearing back from you again soon, I hope. Thanks, Isabel. Bye-bye, everybody.